Well, that didn't work out too well. So folks, please excuse the quality of this video using new camera equipment for the first time. And, well, it didn't go as well as planned, but we'll get better. And again, folks, Rick from the Boondocking Bears, and I am standing on Queenston Heights, one of the sites of a major battle in the War of 1812, and this behind me is one of my favorite sites in all of Niagara Falls. It's looking down the Niagara River towards Lake Ontario, and it seemed like a perfect place to introduce the new Toyota Prius and explain the towing problem that looked like it occurred. So let's get to it. And that is the Prius. So a few weeks ago when I introduced the Prius and that I was going to tow a Burgman 650 behind it, a lot of people commented that you can't tow with a 2015 Prius. And after all these years of research, I thought, oh my gosh, did I make a mistake on the very final chapter of getting ready to go on the road? So, of course, I had to do my research. And the fellows that commented about that were absolutely right. You cannot tow, according to the manual, with a Toyota Prius, the 2015. And what you're looking at is my 2015 Toyota Prius. So I immediately, of course, panicked and did some research. The first thing I did was call the Toyota dealership, because when I was buying the car, I was told I would have no problem. The salesman actually rides a scooter, and we got into a long conversation about his 40 years of riding a scooter, and he unquestionably said to me, yes, you can tow up to the 900 pounds that I was going to need just to tow the scooter and the trailer. I said, well, that's not what the manual says, and I'm getting a lot of hassle, so what is it? So he and I went to the experts, not the manuals, but the guys that actually fix these cars. They have 3 independent technicians at the Toyota dealership that have worked on these cars since 2000. So, I mean, they know everything there is to know about the Toyota Prius. And by the way, if I sound a little nervous in this video, it's because I'm using a handheld gimbal and a new cell phone, the Samsung S8 Plus, and trying this for the first time. So I have no idea whether you can hear this or whether this video is going to turn out. But anyway, so we talked to these 3 experienced technicians, and essentially what they said is, yes, we do have Toyotas come in for service once in a while, not that often, but and some of them rather have towed, so they have hitches, and they said they've never had a problem with it. And their explanation, and by the way, all 3 of these technicians were interviewed independently of each other, so we got 3 distinct opinions from people that have worked on the Prius since the year 2000. And what they said was that you can easily tow 900 pounds with the 2015 Prius, simply because, think of it this way, if you put 4 or even 5 250-pound men into the Prius, it's designed to carry that weight load, so you'll have no problem. And that's less than you'd be towing with the Prius. So as long as you're cognizant of the hitch weights, you should be fine. Okay, so 1,200 pounds, that put me well below what I was going to anticipate carrying. Okay, so that's 3 opinions, and they all came from the dealership I bought the car from. So that might be true, what they've told me, but I wasn't going to be satisfied with that. So I went over to another Toyota dealership in Hamilton, and I got hold of two of their technicians who had the same experience as the fellows in St. Catharines. And they told me exactly the same thing. I interviewed them both separately, and they said, yeah, you can carry 1,200, or you could tow 1,200 pounds without any trouble. You're not going to have any trouble with the warranty. And we've had no issues with people that have towed that amount. So, the people that commented were correct. It does say in the manual, no towing. However, given that I have now 5 independent opinions from the certified Toyota Prius mechanics with, between 10 and 20 years of experience with this car, I'm happy that I can tow with it. So that leaves the next question. What about a hitch? So I phoned our local hitch guy, and he is the best in the region at hitches. A place called Log Cabin. Funny name for a hitch company, but that's what they're called in Niagara on the Lake. And I got a quote from them to put a hitch on, and basically they said yes, there is a hitch made for the car. However, because it's a 2015, it doesn't have a wiring harness, so I've got to wire it right into the electrics, which takes a little longer, just adds a little bit to the installation price. But he said yes. However, you've got to be cognizant of the tongue weight. Okay, so he gave me the numbers for the tongue weight, and for the life of me, I wrote them down and didn't bring them with me on this video, so I can't give them to you. But anyway, he wrote them down, or I wrote them down. And the next step was then to phone the trailer company and say, okay, what's the tongue weight with a fully loaded Suzuki Burgman 650 on the Stinger trailer? Now, they have a picture on their website of the Burgman 650 on their trailer, so I figured they would certainly know. And essentially what they said was, whatever the number was, I just wish I had brought it with me, that the tongue weight is well below the maximum that the hitch could handle. Okay, so that's fine. I said, well, how do you measure the hitch weight, or the tongue weight? And he said, first of all, before you even consider what it weighs, remember on the Stinger trailer, the chock for the bike moves. So you can move it forward and back. And in the most forward position towards the car, the hitch weight would be the highest. And it was still at least 20% below the maximum that I could tow with. If I moved the chock back an inch, it took about 20% of the tongue weight off. So obviously that wasn't going to be a problem. I said, well, how do you measure tongue weight? And I got a lesson in how to ask the stupid question. He says, well, what we do is we put the bike on, and then we put a block of wood on a bathroom scale, and we put the tongue on top of that, and we weigh it. I went, oh my God, I'm so dumb. That solved that problem. So there you go, folks. I can tow with this vehicle. The manual says definitely you can't, but I have experienced technicians telling me you can. There is a hitch made for it. The hitch tongue weight's going to be fine, and we're set to go. So that was a major problem overcome. So this is my 2015 Prius. I suppose I should give you a little tour of it. I was going to do a video on it, and I probably will once I get some gear to go in it. Let me see if I can open this up. There you go. So that's the inside from the rear. I've obviously got the back seat still up. I haven't done anything to this car yet in terms of getting it prepared for camping, but you can see there's lots of room, and it's cool. Now, the only thing I didn't like about this particular Prius was that it's white. I'd never had a white car before. I'm not really enamored of having a white car, but it's got everything else. Now, I did add some things. I added these wind deflectors on the windows so that I can crack the windows at night when I'm sleeping if I want and not get soaked. I added tinted windows, again, for a little privacy, but also in the heat of the summer, if you're camping, it reflects back the heat. And I added a coating to the paint that they said means I will never have to wax it. Whether I do or not, I don't know. But those are the three things that I added to it when I bought it. So it's a 2015 Prius and fully loaded. It's got the touring package. And I'm about to get run over here if I'm not careful. Did I mention that tourist season started last week here in the falls? Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope that answers some questions. Today is Tuesday. What's the date? May 29th, I believe. And next Tuesday, a week today, I go to Ottawa to pick up the Burgman 650. So I'm kind of like a little kid the week before Christmas. Pretty anxious and to get up there and get riding, and we're set to go. So thanks for watching. Be charitable, have fun, and talk to you again soon.